crud.
I'll just hold this post up.
All right, we're back at it. It's Monday morning, December 21st. And the first thing we need to do is get the post for this end cut, and it's being leaned on over there. We've got it marked for height, which happens to be, in this case, from the bottom of that leg to the bottom of the table there, 39 1/4. So we're going to cut that. We've got it marked, and the this left edge there seems to be the straightest section of it. So that's the part that's going to ride on the bandsaw, and we're going to cut that off here right now. I told you I was going to try to get this thing set up so you get more live action going on. Oh, I don't know if it's going to... Hang on. Gotta get this thing... There. That should be good enough. All right. Here we go.
Tension?
Yep. Okay, we got the stretcher laid out, well, what we think is laid out to length. And before I was telling you about how the tenon was cut by first making a relief cut on the back side of it and then splitting it down. And so based on the diameter of this log as it is and the diameter of bit that we have to make the tenon, well, we've determined that approximately an inch of cutting around this post or stretcher will get us close enough to, when we start splitting this off, to develop that tenon. And all I do is just go around. The pencil line is already delineated around the log, and all I do is just go around, and so that this surface area comes into that inch line and will be close. Got it clamped to the table so it don't roll around. So we do half of it and then turn the log and do the other half. And if I can move this saw around like this and determine if that line is close, then we know we're getting there. Well, all these knots and burls and everything sticking out, it makes it hard. It makes it hard to get the log clamped to the table. You kind of have to be have 4 hands and a
Tail.
and a tail, yeah. And the cut line is just now coming around here, so I can just continue on. This line is not exactly accurate because of the log being. Let's see if I'm seeing the same thing you're seeing. Okay. So we have to pretend that it's going to end up being square cut, sort of. Okay, I'm past there. I think we're good, Jeff.
Brilliant.
All right, now we're ready to trim off the material that doesn't look like a tenon. You can see the circle there drawn on the on that flat cut end there, and we'll just chisel down. This should go a lot easier because there's not as many burls and knots sticking out of this end as it was on that opposite end over there. So this should go a little bit easier, and we'll have Jeff come over here and destroy. There you go. Come on over and destroy this, Jeff. All right, we'll get back in just a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna pick up, now that I got the tripod moved, we're just gonna start chiseling on. With any kind of a chisel, at least in this shop, I use a wooden mallet. This one I just made in the shop here. It came from a table leg, from a coffee table, if I recall, and I got like 5 or 6 of these blocks cut, and all it is just a hole drilled, and then a pin goes through to secure the head to the handle, and it's a 7/8 handle. But anyway, you use a wooden mallet on chisels, especially wooden ones, to keep from flaring over the end. And if your cut back there is deep enough, it should be able to take off nice big chunks, and then you just keep working your way down. Now this is going to be tough because of the big old knot sticking out of there, so I'm going to leave him go for a bit and work into him from the other side. Notice how my end is going faster and smoother than your end was?
Small steps, lefty.
The idea is not to take too many big bites. Take bites and then work your way down, otherwise you'll foul it up.
Don't know where the grain's running.
Well, I'm doing almost perfect here.
Build yourself a house.
You know you're doing pretty good if it strips off pieces like this, which is pretty uniform, It's when it starts getting gnarly, like where this knot is. But I've got a cure for that here in a second. I'll show you, and we'll just we'll make quick work with that. Oops. Remember I told you that jigsaw that we used to cut the end of the table with, I said I had a long blade? Well, most people would probably try to pick up a handsaw and cut this, but we're a little bit smarter around here. We just do it this way. What? We're a little smarter around here. No comments from the peanut gallery. Uh-oh. That worked out pretty good, Geoff. And now we're getting dangerous where it's starting to flake off and get wider at the other end. So we best be getting careful here. Alright, I'll pick this up and when we get ready to drill the hole on the other leg. Okay, the other tenon that we were working on just a bit ago has been formed and shaped, and we've got these two blocks here, which is the hole was drilled the same diameter as the hole that the tenon will go into. And after the hole was drilled, just took and cut it on the bandsaw to get half of it, and then we was using that as a template to, walk away around the tenon. And then after we got it close, then we would put the two blocks together, and then walk it around the tenon to see if the joint here would, be gapped or just perfect. And we're close enough to perfect for the girls you guys go out with. And then in order to get a determination of where to drill that post, the mortise for the tenon, we had to set it up on the bench based on what we knew this height to be. And now we've got it laid out with these accurate spacer blocks, that log there for one. This other half split log here, so that's the accurate blocks that we're using. And we've got pencil marks in there. You can see the big old X there. That's where the center of the hole is going to be for going into there. And we'll drill that here with the hole hog, which is a tool that typically plumbers and electricians use. It's a big old geared down heavy duty drill with an extension. So we'll get to that in just a bit. All right, now we've got the stretcher disassembled, removed, whatever you want to call it, from that other post. And as it was sitting in the hole, we scribed the perimeter around the post to where, if you look at where you see it's all kinds of ins and outs, and this big old knot here and a hole here, and that kind of got fouled up. So it's scribed to fit those little parts there, and so we're going to do that right now with this grinder. It's got a 60 grit flap disc type of a thing on it, folded disc, whatever you want to call it, but it takes it down pretty fast. And then we're just going to follow that pencil mark on an angle so that it comes back to this point here. We'll see that in a bit. Okay, I'm back, and I was telling you earlier about how this short post here goes underneath of the table, and supports this end, and there would be a plate welded onto a piece of pipe that would fit that tenon. I've got the tenon cut, and you can look down on it and see the shoulder there that was left after the circle was cut out. And I had to take the plate over to my brother-in-law's. He's got a better welder than I have, and this piece of pipe and plate was provided by my buddy Smitty down in Missoula, who works in a metal fabrication shop called Felco, and he just cut the pipe for me to length and the plate, and basically you just stick it on there. Hang on a second. And she sits on top of the post like that, and then the plate has holes drilled in it for the bolts to secure the plate to the bottom of the table there. Right now it's being supported by a milk crate on top of a sawhorse. It's about an inch higher than what it needs to be. That'll give us room to get the stretcher put into that one first, then slide this one on to the other end of the stretcher so that that tenon will go into that hole there. But right now I am working on that little table. Remember I was telling you that was the remnant of the cutoff of this here tall post. I was going to turn it into an end table. And if you'll remember in an earlier segment, we were cutting it on the bandsaw. Well, it ended up not being exactly flat. So based on the fact that this burl there would not fit in the bandsaw, I didn't want to make a special bracket for that to cut it. So what I decided to do was do something just a little bit different. And part of the fun of woodworking is figuring out how to do something in order to get to an end result without going through a bunch of extra work. So what I did was I made a harness, I guess you could call it, and supported by these vertical plywood pieces there, which is just slightly lower than what would be the finished height of the table, as it's sitting on the floor. And then I made that sled there for the router to slide back and forth on. So this sled will move left and right, and the flush cutting bit up there would trim off the odd angle there. You can see the pencil mark right there along that I used. In fact, I used that sled with that stick hanging out to mark that line and to help me adjust the bit so that it would cut on that line. And so that's what I'm getting ready to do right now. So let me move the tripod. And we'll see where we get. Hang on a sec. Like I often say, this is a one-man video shop, so you have to bear with me because I'm trying to do everything at once by myself. There we go. And with being able to move that sled left and right, I can use that flush cutting. Well, basically it's a straight bit, but it cuts on the bottom as well, and I can use that to level the table stop there. The purpose of that strip on the left there and the one on the right is to keep the sled from falling off of the vertical supports. You know, because if I'm paying attention to the tool, which is what I should be doing in a matter of safety, then if it slides off, then I could, you know, damage the piece of wood, and that's not a good thing. Anyway, so let me show you the result here. If you see that the pencil line there, and the way the router slides back and forth is going to cut that nice and flat. And since you've already seen part of it, you don't need to watch all of it. I'll just show you the end result here in a bit. Okay, here it is out of the harness over there, and the top has been cut down so that it's level with the world. I stick a little level up there. You can see the bubble there. And if I put the top on it, remember before when I was sitting over there on the router table it was crooked. Now you can look at it and see that she's nice and flat. So we're going to, Jeff is supposed to, this is Wednesday, the December 30th. We had a couple of days off for Christmas break, but Jeff is going to be here, and then we're going to get this table put together and then pack him into the finish room and throw the stain on it, and then we'll top coat it, and we'll show you that as we move along. But as of right now, there's nothing much more I can do here. Wait for him. I'll probably round over these cut ends here to get that ready to go and give me something to do. So we'll pick this up as we move along. And thanks for watching this.